Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. Today I was reading through Recovery 2.0 by Tommy Rosen, and it was a section where he talks about his life growing up and the pain and some of the experiences that he had growing up that contributed to his journey into addiction and eventually into recovery. He grew up in New York in the 70s and early 80s. He grew up in a family where things were tense, where there was a lot of emotional things going on. And he talked about some of the pain he experienced as a result of both the environment in the city as well as the things that happened in his family. And reading this reminded me that all of us who are in a journey recovery, and indeed all people, have pain in their lives that contribute to whatever path they're on and wherever they are at this point in their lives. And it's important for us to realize that, because one of my big problems in addiction was that for a long time I thought that pain and the particular pain I had experienced was unique to me. And that gave me a lot of feelings of entitlement. It also left me lonely, and it made me less compassionate towards other people. So, I felt like I had some very unique pain. When I was 10 years old, I was diagnosed as obsessive compulsive, and I was having some very, very significant mental health issues related to my obsessive compulsive disorder. I was also having some physical health issues related to it. And so I struggled with that throughout my life. I've dealt with, as time went on, that developed into depression, anxiety, panic attacks. And then I did find that things like drugs and alcohol, at least temporarily, helped relieve some of the symptoms I felt from that. So then those morphed into addiction. And so for a long time, I felt that all of these different things in my life, all of these different experiences were unique to me, that I was someone special, even though I didn't really like the mental issues that I was experiencing. I did like the feeling, and I have to admit, I liked the feeling that, I'm special. Nobody can understand what I've been through. Nobody else has ever experienced anything like this. And it was a revelation to get into treatment and start talking to other alcoholics and addicts and find out that all these feelings I had about me being special with the pain and trauma in my life, they were bullshit. All sorts of other people have similar issues. They're not ever exactly the same. Nobody has experienced exactly the same thing I experienced in life. But as I sat and listened to other people tell their stories, a feeling of compassion started to grow in me for the first time in years, because I realized that pain and trauma are something that we all share. Our stories of pain and trauma tend to differ between individuals. There may be commonalities, there may be differences, but at the core, life is filled with pain and trauma and suffering. And then the people who overcome those things and go on to continue to do great things in life. And as we started to have more discussions in treatment about the things that we had gone through, I started to see common threads, and the places where I felt isolated and alone and entitled because I thought I was the only one going through these painful things and the only one who had experienced these painful things. All of a sudden, those feelings started to shift into compassion for other people. And I started to realize that the pain that I had gone through was much more common than I expected. and had ever thought. And not only that, I could use my pain to help other people. So I started to tell my stories to other people and be very open in our group sessions, for example. And I would have people come to me after the group sessions and say, "Thank you for sharing. I thought I was the only one who had gone through that." And all of a sudden, my worldview was blown out of the water, because for decades in my life, I felt like I was the only person who had experienced particular parts of life and particular types of pain. And all of a sudden, I found that no, even within this small little bubble where I'm operating, there's multiple other people who have experienced this type of pain. Once that compassion started to grow, I started paying more and more attention to what people go through in life. And as I realized that other people experience similar pain, not only did my compassion grow, but I got more space in my life for something else, gratitude. And when I made more space in my life for gratitude, then all of a sudden, gratitude and compassion started working together to make me feel more fulfilled in life. The more fulfilled I was in life, the less need I felt for drugs and alcohol to fill anything that was missing. And so as I continue to work my recovery, I continue to try to give back to the recovery community, to share what I can in hopes that it helps someone else who's feeling the same isolated and maybe entitled feelings that I did when I thought I was the only one who experienced a particular type of pain. And by doing this, it continues to create space for that for that gratitude, that compassion, so that I don't feel the need or desire to fill any gaps in my life, any voids in me with drugs or alcohol. And that's a big part of staying sober for me. And that's a big part of being in recovery for me. But it all started with talking to other people and realizing that my pain, the unique pain that I felt, what a lot of people call terminal uniqueness in addiction. We think we're special. We think our story is completely unique and no one else has experienced life like we have. And I'll tell you, it was at first a rude awakening, and then a very fortunate awakening for me when I realized, no, there's plenty of other people who have experienced a very, very similar life to what I have. And I have a lot to be grateful for. And by sharing my life with others and hearing their stories, I can start to grow that compassion, that gratitude, and that's what helps me keep walking down the road of recovery these days. So that's all I've got for today. I'll be back tomorrow with more.